Hey guys, it's Doc Vinyl again. How you doing? Today we're gonna do Pete Townshend solo career. Pretty good tune here. Eric Clapton guitar. It's from the second album. Such cool stuff. I'll turn that down. Always that blues kind of thing going on there. Okay, this is Pete Townshend's solo career, which is kind of interesting. I did The Who a couple weeks ago, so I thought I'd follow up with Pete Townshend. This is just about 90% discography. I'm missing Pscychoderelict, which is one of his last albums he did, which was kind of a concept musical thing. Iron Man I have here, and that's close enough, but which is a collaborative work. These are interesting because the first couple of albums he did were kind of interesting. So I'm going to look at Pete Townshend and the collaborative efforts. And one of the reasons I was drawn to Pete Townshend many, many years ago on CDs back in the 80s is that, and as you know, I'm a drummer and I like drums. Simon Phillips got his early start. Obviously, he played with Jeff Beck and he played with David Coverdale and other people, but he really got some fame with Pete Townshend. And when I saw The Who live in 1989, it was Simon Phillips on drums, which is like, oh, he's insane. He's just an amazing drummer. He's featured on 3 of these albums. Glenn Burke from Blondie's in one of these albums. Ronnie Lane, all kinds of cool musicians. I'll talk about them as we go through each album. So the collaborative effort that he did is really, really cool. Okay, so Pete Townshend had a solo career concurrently while he was in The Who, even before the death of Keith Moon in 1978, I think it was. He dies right after Who Are You? But he had started his career actually in 1972 with a track recording in UK, and this is called Who Came First. Now, the first 2 albums that he did solo, he did with, this one's with the Alibaba and all kinds of cool stuff. This one has a poster and everything, it's kind of cool. This one he done with Ronnie Lane. I think I still have, does it have the poster? Yeah, it has this like kind of like cool little poster. I always like to go over this stuff, This was released with the original. It's the original poster. It makes it a little bit rarer, I suppose. Kind of share that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool. The initial release, this is the initial first pressing release, and it had the poster, the ones that came after Beams. Okay, this has some really cool songs on it. Pure and Easy, which is really cool, has a very kind of a Who feel to it with Pete Townshend singing. Very blues-esque, very nice, sharp guitar work that he's done. Evolution is on this, which he does with Ronnie Lane. Again, Ronnie Lane's kind of famous from playing bass and guitar and doing singing with Faces, Small Faces and Faces, of course, with Rod Stewart, who was in Faces, and he did some Rod Stewart stuff. Ronnie Lane played with a lot of different people, so it's kind of cool that he collaborated with Pete Townshend on this album. Forever to Time Not All, that was pretty good. Nothing is Everything. Side 2 has Time is Passing, Heartache, Sheraton, Gibson, Content, and Paradividikar, which is kind of cool. Of course, it's an Alibaba thing. This is really cool. It's a cool album. It's interesting. This came out in 1972 on track originally. So this came out right around the time of Who's Next, which of course was major, major hit. Very big album. Very cool stuff. It was interesting to see that he did concurrently. Of course, John Entwistle and various others had contributed on his solo albums. Even Roger Daltrey does too. So really, most elements, except I think the only one that didn't was Keith Moon. The second album that comes out is called Rough Mix. Now is the one I started with. This one's very interesting. This one came out in 1977, which is interesting. I believe it is, right? Yep. This was right before the death of Keith Moon. Now this one has Ronnie Lane in the picture right there. So it says Pete Townshend and Ronnie Lane, which is Rough Mix. Very cool. Lots of guest musicians on this. Mel Collins, who plays saxophone on Cat Melody, of course, is from King Crimson, of course. Boz Burrell, who was on one of the King Crimson albums, plays bass, and then later showed up in Bad Company. It's always cool to see the different musicians play with each other. Eric Clapton played on April Fool, and I played Rough Mix, which he played the lead guitar, which you just heard. This album has My Baby Gives It Away, which is really cool, very big hit on this one. Nowhere to Run with Ronnie Lane. Rough Mix, which was Eric Clapton, which you just heard. Annie, which was again Eric Clapton again with Graham Lyle. It's kind of cool. He plays with Pete Townshend. Keep Me Turning. Cat Melody, which Mel Collins on saxophone and Ian Stewart on piano. Side 2 is Misunderstood. Peter Hope on harmonica. Very, very cool. April Fool again with Eric Clapton. Street in the City Has a whole bunch of different people on it. Chris Green, Chris Lawrence, Hard to Hang On To, Until the Rivers All Run Dry. Again, lots of stuff. This has John Entwistle and Billy Nichols on the vocal help on this one. So this one kind of has elements of The Who, Eric Clapton, Mel Collins. So very, very cool. Rough Mix is really cool. He did this album, of course, in between, after Quadrophenia. I think after, he's like, the Who album, I'm trying to think the Who album that he was doing. Quadrophenia, and then he did another one. Who by Numbers, I think. And then this one. So he had a vibrant solo career before the Who kind of went belly up in '78. I wouldn't say belly up, but I mean they had a real big speed bump when Keith Moon died, and then they had to kind of reform the band with Kenny Jones, again, who played in Faces. Kind of cool with the Ronnie Lane connection. You kind of see how this is all going, but that's kind of cool. So he doesn't do an album for a while, of course, for some issues. And then his third album is Empty Glass, and this comes out in 1981. And this one came out during the time when he was having some alcoholic problems and his marital issues and stuff like this. This album yielded the most hits by far. This album obviously is a cool album, one of the first albums I got by him, and the fact that it has Simon Phillips on drums. This album is just really, really cool. This has quite a bit of stuff on it. Actually, let me grab my glasses to read. Hold on. There they are right up here. Do a little reading. And yeah, this one has Pete Townshend pretty much doing everything. Guitars, synths, everything. Tony Butler on bass. Kenny Jones and Simon Phillips. So Simon Phillips plays most of the drums. He does drums on Let My Love Open the Door, which is kind of really cool. So really cool stuff on this one. Now this album obviously has all the big hits on. This has Rough Boys, which was a very, very big hit. I Am an Animal, and I Moved. Let My Love Open the Door, which, of course, Simon Phillips on drums again. That one was a very big hit. Jules and Jim, Keep on Working. Keep on Working. Good song. Cats in the Cupboard. Really cool. Side 2 is A Little Is Enough. Do-do-do-do. With that great keyboard and an awesome drum intro with Simon Phillips. Love that one. Empty Glass. Of course, the song title. Gonna Get Ya. And again, this was just really, really well done. This is a very big album. And this, again, I believe I was right again. This came out in 1980. I'm sorry, 1980. That's awful bit. And this came out right around the time, right before they released their first Renew album in 1981, which I think was It's Hard, I think, yeah. So, big album. His fourth album is interesting one. This one was All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes, of course. That would be very, very socially incorrect today to say. Now, this album is very, very interesting. This has a lot of interesting elements to it. As we pull out the liner sheets, that's what I love about the liner sheets. They really have all the information you really need. And that's what I love about albums. And you can read them. As we look through this one has Slit Skirts, Stop Hurting People, Stop Hurting People, The Sea Refuses No River, Prelude, Face Dances, Part 2, Face Dances Tonight, which is really cool. It's Squizzly Board, Communication, Stardom in Action, Uniforms is pretty good, North Country Girl is really cool. It's kind of like a little bluesies piece. Somebody Saved Me, and Slit Skirts, which of course was one of the big ones. Slit Skirts, Jeannie Isn't Wearing Those, Slit Skirts. Pretty cool song. This album comes out in 1982. This comes out 2 years after Empty Glass. This one wasn't as well received, but it did yield a couple of good hits on it. It has quite a few players on it. This one has quite a good. This has still has Simon Phillips on drums, and the list of players. I hate when they don't list the musicians, which this one I don't think. Oh yeah, here it is. There we go. Yeah, this one has some pretty good ones on it. This has Simon Phillips on drums, my favorite. Mark Brzezinski is on it too. Tony Butler back on bass again. But yeah, pretty good. Pretty solid album overall. I liked it. I got it when it came out on CD. I remember now, of course, now I have it on vinyl, which is much, much better. All right. So, and he had been in the midst of the Who now with Eminence Front and various other Who albums that they were putting out concurrently with his solo career, which is kind of cool. It's interesting that Simon Phillips shows up in the Who tour in the late 80s, which, of course, and if anyone's going to fill Keith Moon's shoes, it would be Simon Phillips. Amazing, amazing drummer. Okay, the next album that comes out is called Pete Townshend's Scoop. This is a double album. Very interesting. This album comes out in 1983. This album comes out kind of while he was doing the Who thing, because this has a lot of Who covers on it. And this really features a lot of cool musicians on it, I believe. This one has like a lot of guest stars on it. Yeah, this has Clem Burke and... I think even Roger Daltrey's on this one too. Okay, this one has a lot of good songs. So Sad About It, Squeeze Box, which of course is a Who song. And then he has Politician, which I believe is a Cream cover. Dirty Water, Circles, Piano Tipperary. Side 2 is Unused Piano Quadrophenia, which is kind of cool. Melancholy, Bargain, which of course was from Who's Next. Things Have Changed, Popular, Behind Blue Eyes, which again another Who song. Side 3 is a Magic Bush, Cachet, Cookin', You're So Clever, Body Language, and Initial Machine Experiments. Side 4 is Mary, Recordings, Gone Fishing, You Came Back, and he ends off the whole thing with Love Reign Over Me with his version of singing. Very cool album. This was a really big production. It was pretty well received when it came out. I remember it came out. A lot of people were into it. They liked the fact that he was doing like Who covers and doing kind of the Who songs that he had written the way he wanted to do them. I suppose that's kind of what was going on here, which is kind of cool. This is very good. Very cool album. Lots of good stuff on it. Highly recommend Scoop. It was kind of a big production when it came out because it was a double album. Now, it'd be about 2 years before his next album comes out, and that's a big one, and I believe John may have this up for auction on Thursday. This, of course, is Pete Townshend, White City. This is really cool. This still has Simon Phillips on drums. This has Give Blood, Brilliant Blues, Face to Face, which is really cool. D Face to Face, Secondhand Love, Crashing by Design, I'm Secure, White City Funny, and Come to Mama. This album was a little bit more slickly produced, I'd have to say. As I look through it and look at through the musicians that played on this, we have quite a bit on this one. Tony Butler comes back. Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd's on this one. We have Simon Clarke, Tim Sanders, whole bunch of good things going on in this, and I believe Simon Phillips is on drums again on this one. This one yielded quite a few hits. After the Empty Glass album, I'd say this is the second biggest Pete Townshend solo album, I'd have to say. Probably, definitely. Now, like I said, the last couple albums I have is this one here that comes out in 1989, I'm sorry. 93 was the Pscychoderelict, which I don't have. This is called Iron Man, and this was like a really big one. This has a lot of people on it. And I have the book right here because I want to take the book with it on this one. So this is Iron Man. This one was kind of a musical by Pete Townshend, and this one includes all kinds of guest stars. John Lee Hooker, Nina Simone, Deborah Conway, Roger Daltrey from The Who, of course, and Pete Townshend himself. And this has Nina Simone's beautiful voice in this. It's just really, really cool. This is a musical kind of play thing, and as you can see, it really features all the major artists in it. Very, very, very cool. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a Tommy kind of production thing going on, but many different people with many different voices on it. Very, very cool. Coming of the Iron Man, the whole cool stuff there. So, as you can see, pretty cool stuff on this one. This has all kinds of good songs on it, too. This one has I Won't Run Anymore, Over the Top, with John Lee Hooker. This has Main Machines, Won't Run Anymore, has Deborah Conway on it, by the way. Man Machines by Simon Tom, then Dig by The Who, A Friend is a Friend, I Eat Heavy Metal, John Lee Hooker, All Shall Be Well, Pete Townshend, Was Their Life, Fast Food, and New Life Reprise, and Fire, and A Fool Says. Pretty cool stuff, like I said. Really, really cool album. Again, that's the main book of it, and I have one last album here. I don't have Pscychoderelict, but I do have Deep End Live, which I picked up, which is cool. I had this on CD too, which is kind of cool. This is a really cool album. This has a lot of his early stuff live, the first 4 albums. This one right here is really cool. This one has Simon Phillips on drums, as Barefootin', After the Fire, Behind Blue Eyes, Stop Hurtin' People, I'm the One, I Put a Spell on You, Save It for Later. He does a great version of Pinball Wizard. Little Is Enough, which of course is from the Empty Glass album, and Eyesight to the Blind, which of course is from Tommy. This was a really cool live album. Again, I'm not a big live album guy, as you know. I am going to do a live album, it's like the greatest live albums in rock, some of the greatest, because I have a couple good ones. This is actually a good one. This is one of the better ones, so I have to say this is pretty good. So, not too bad. So there you go. That's Pete Townshend. Pretty cool stuff. Like I said, he had an interesting solo career, had some really hit or miss stuff, but most of it pretty cool stuff. His early stuff is very jammy and very cool. His later stuff was a little different. So there you go. Now, just thought I'd end up with, I hope you'd like to see some more likes, as you guys some more subscriptions, so get some ideas of what you guys would like to see, okay? This is a follow-up. We have a big J Giles show coming up in the next week or two. And then we're going to do some of the Record Store Day releases over at Max J Records. So that should be kind of cool, too. So I just thought I would follow up with that. I hope you like the Pete Townshend. If you have any interesting ideas to put out there, I got a lot of cool bands coming up. Steve Winwood's solo career. Definitely addendum stuff on that. I'd like to do some Uriah Heep and some Deep Purple. Obviously, I haven't gone to Deep Purple yet. A lot of the big bands coming on. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, of course. I'm going to do some more prog stuff and do some deep cuts and do some works on drummers and focus. But like I said, I like to hear what you guys got to say. Let's get those comments going, talking about some of the favorite albums and what you guys think. So again, some of these will probably be featured this Thursday on today's May 18th, so that'll be May 20th, the Thursday, May 20th auction over at Max J. I think he's going to feature a couple of these, maybe either White City or Empty Glass, the two big ones. So you'll be able to get those on auction. So, all right. I will see you guys next week. Stay safe. Talk Vinyl out.